Welcome to another OpenMarch tutorial. In this video, we're going to give a quick overview of everything in the UI. If you need something more in depth, you can feel free to navigate to another tutorial. The first thing that you'll notice is that OpenMarch is very simple. We never want to show you too much at once, so you can focus on what's important, and that's the marchers on your field. We have a few options at the top. We have three menus. We have File, Alignment, and View. Starting with the File tab, it's everything you'd expect, where you can open a file, create a new file, or save a copy. If you want to exit to the launch page, you can do that here. And then we have our undo and redo buttons, which are also up here if you choose that. This is also where you're going to access your app settings if you ever want to access those for changing light and dark mode and canvas sensitivity. Note that OpenMarch saves automatically, so you don't actually need to press Command S or Control S or save unless you want to save a copy. The next is our alignment tab. The first thing that you'll see is our coordinate rounding menu, which we'll go a little bit more in depth to in another video. We have buttons to lock the X and Y axis, rounding marchers, alignment, snapping to one axis, X and Y, and evenly distributing vertically and horizontally. You'll notice that as you hover over most of the buttons in OpenMarch, you'll get a brief description of what each button does and a shortcut for how to activate that. We also have a drop-down for placing all marchers to the previous page and the next page, and placing selected marchers. Next, we have the View tab, which has very simple view options for how the canvas appears. It's like having the lines for the grid or having the half lines for the grid, which are every 4 steps. Now that we're done with the top bar, we have our 3 sidebar icons. The first is marchers, which we went into in the previous tutorial. This is where you can add marchers, delete marchers, or edit them. The next tab is our music menu, where you can import audio and adjust tempo. And lastly is our field tab, where you can customize the field to make it any way you want just for your performing ensemble. Navigating downwards, you'll see that we have a timeline, which doesn't have much yet since we don't have any music, but this is where you'll have controls for moving to the next page, the last page, playing and pausing the show, and this is also where our audio and music are going to show up. And then we also have our full screen mode, which you can toggle in and out of. When you're in full screen mode, there's a perspective view for you to get a 3D perspective of your field to view it at a realistic angle. The last thing we're going to go over is our inspector. As you click on things in OpenMarch, as you change pages, and as you perform different actions, you'll see different things show up in the inspector to show you actions that you can perform on the things that you have selected. For example, when I select a marcher, you'll see the marcher details show up. If you ever experience any bugs or want to submit feedback in OpenMarch, we have a handy button on the top right over here that navigates you to a report a bug feature where you can describe what's going on. But as always, if you would rather just talk to someone, you are welcome to reach out to us on Discord, our Facebook users group, or directly email us and we'll get to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this OpenMarch UI overview, and we're going to go into more detail in the next tutorial.